Hey Jocelyn, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let this play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, first of all, your posture looks good. We can see that your spine's nice and straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball, so like I said, really good posture in association with good balance. Also, let's go ahead and take a look at your alignment. We can see your feet set up in a closed stance, meaning we're aiming out to the left. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge, but even still, under that philosophy, we can see we're set up to hit the golf ball over these trees here, whereby the center of the fairway's back over here. So we're going to have to see some form of compensation that's going to try and get the ball back there. Now, one thing I want to point out before we move on, look at your golf swing, is that your subconscious brain already knows this. So look at how you stack your upper body over your lower body. If I were to lay an alignment tool, I can see your right arm underneath your left arm. So if I were going to lay an alignment tool across your forearms are aiming over in this direction, as are your shoulders. So your upper body's already telling you, hey, I got to hit the ball back to the right, back to the yellow flag, because my lower body's set up to hit it at the red flag. So that's already a subconscious compensation in your address position, even before you've swung the golf club. And we'll see some other things occur, obviously, in the swing motion itself. So let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Flip Jordan over to left-handed. We'll watch Jordan initiate his takeaway, whereby he creates good shoulder rotation, bringing his arms and hands back as well as the club. Want to see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. Also, in the early stages of the golf swing, we want to establish some wrist hinge into play, which means that we're going to transition the club head from currently being below and in front of our hands to getting that club head above and behind our hands. Really important move in the transition of the takeaway here. At this point in time, we want to work the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. And when we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we either want to have the right arm in the club situated on the yellow line, anywhere in between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue, as we see with Jordan Spieth. We also want to create full shoulder rotation, do this about a stable left leg, all the while maintaining the good posture and spinal axis we achieved at address. Let's watch you initiate your takeaway here, which you draw your hands back very nicely, turning your shoulders. You do have a tendency of drawing the club back underneath and inside the swing plane. Just means the club shaft and club head have moved to the right of the red line. This is very typical for somebody who sets up in a closed stance. As we continue to move back here, club's ever so slightly inside. As long as we get some wrist hinge into play, club will recover, and we also want it above and behind our hands. So there it is, starting to recover, getting back into good position, so that's good. From here, let's work this golf club to the set position and see where we get to. So by the time you get to the top of your backswing, pretty good position here. You turned your shoulders quite well. Stable left side, maintaining your posture. Arms are in good geometry relative to your core. Club's in good position relative to your arms. I like where you are. Okay, you're set a little bit shallow, but nothing that's a big deal at all. This is fine. As we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our left foot to our right foot, fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. In doing so, we want to make sure we're bringing the golf club from the blue-yellow V zone, wherever we set it, back down on top of red, which is what we can see here with Snedeker. The golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to pay attention to here is the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. I refer to this as the check mark position. It simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. And this is what's going to give us a lot of power in our golf swing, aside from his ability to hit the ball straight due to the fact that, again, the club has returned back to plane, which is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. Let's go ahead and watch your transition back into the ball here. So a nice dropping of your hands and arms. Looks like your feet, knees, and hips are moving too, so that's looking really good. We get into this position here, come down a frame, and maybe, yep, so we'll keep it right there, that's good. If we take a look at your lead forearm and your golf club, let me do that in the same color as we did with Snedeker. We look at your lead form and the golf club. You have your backwards check mark, so creating some power in your golf swing will not be an issue. The only concern right now is that the club head is not returning close enough back to plane. So your club shaft is coming into the ball too steep. And what that means is your club shaft right now is approaching the golf ball at this pre-impact position at about 49 degrees, whereas Snedeker's golf clubs come into the ball at about 30 degrees. Okay, so a very different shaft angle coming into the ball. There's also something I want you to understand about this angle. If we go back down to address and we go through the hinging process, what we're going to notice is we're going to take this golf club from here and we're going to move it into the exact same position we get to in pre-impact. So look at that. That club shaft and club head are in the exact same position as is the lead form. The only difference is there's more lag coming into the ball because we still have yet to continue to fully complete our wrist hinge. So when we come into the ball, we've achieved more wrist hinge, and that's why the hands are on, or the form and the hands are on the blue line of the check mark. Okay? But we're in the exact same position here as we achieve when we come back into the golf ball. Okay? So this right here, this is the most important aspect of a golf swing. And yours is just coming in too steep. So if we continue to track that club coming into the ball, watch where your club falls in the next frame. It falls out in front. And then therefore it's attacking the ball from outside. So if we connect the dots from where it was here, and we just sort of connect those dots through to here, we can see that your golf club came into the ball too steep from over the top, and that's going to influence an out-to-in path. What we can see with the left side of the screen is the club returned to plane here, and then the golf club simply tracked into the golf ball directly from this red line, which, as I've already stated, is the reason for producing straight golf shots in accordance to our alignment. Lastly, assuming obviously club face squares up via having a good grip. So those are your three main criteria in order to hit a straight golf shot. We have to aim well. Feet have to run parallel right of the target, as do the knees, hips, forearms, and shoulders. We have to bring the club down on plane in order to hit the ball straight in accordance to that alignment. And then lastly, club face has to square up. So we can see with you, you're aiming way left with your feet. Upper body at address was wide open. We're bringing the golf club from a good set position over the top, coming in too steep, therefore attacking the ball from out to in. So we don't have the proper aim, we don't have the proper downswing plane. At that point in time, you're obviously going to have to compensate with the club face here. And unfortunately, we're missing all three criteria in order to produce consistency. So at this point in time, knowing that the downswing planes are very different with the yellow lines here, we can go ahead and take a look at the pass of the club. And we can see that Jordan's club is just slightly inside the ball, expands out to make contact, and then the golf club moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club was stuck outside the ball, dropping down across, making contact, and keeps moving across. So again, getting back to where we first started, we'd said you're going to make a compensation to try and pull the ball back online. Well, this is your compensation, right? Now we have the ability to hopefully pull the ball back towards the center of the fairway, due to the fact that we pointed out that we were aimed over here into the trees. So the issues that arise here is if we over-release the club to this red path, not only will we pull the ball, but we would hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook. If we under-release the club to the same red path, we'll hit some form of a pull slice. If we time it perfectly, what happens is we hit what I refer to as a pull straight shot, or just a subtle pull draw or subtle pull fade that resemble either yellow or blue, just not to that severity. But this again requires a ton of timing on your part. So what we can see here at impact as well is left heel's off the ground. Let me see how you move through to your finish. You get up on your toe there, yeah, you're sort of spinning out on your back foot almost like a baseball player, and then you're falling back on your left side. So you start with proper footwork, but then it doesn't really proceed through. So just watch left side of the screen. We're up off our left heel. We want to get up onto the left toes. So we count all the spikes in the shoe, and that'll get your weight to your right side. So this is pretty simple footwork. that allows you to get through to a finish, because this is going to now allow the hips to square around, shoulders to fully rotate. Okay? So pretty simple footwork there. Let's just learn from the top of our backswing, swing through, get the left heel off the ground, get up on my toes of my left foot, stand on my right side. Okay? Pretty simple footwork to make the golf swing aesthetically look good through to the finish. And that's something you definitely want to apply just to make your golf swing aesthetically look better, be more efficient, and carry you through to a better finish. Okay? Overall, there's some nice athletic qualities with your golf swing here. Your hands work well, they come back, they fire through. Your core works well, you coil, you uncoil. You got decent enough footwork that you start to get to a finish, but then, not only do you fall back, but you step off your right foot. So we totally have to change that footwork and get you into a better finish. Beyond that, again, golf swing comes down to alignment, downswing plane, and club face. So we do have to improve your alignment. We have to get your feet running parallel right of your target. And then once we have your feet running parallel right, then we have to close your shoulders and arms counterclockwise. So your your shoulders and arms are parallel to your feet. So got to work on the alignment. At that point in time, once your alignment's good, there's now no subconscious reason to compensate to try and pull the ball back to the right. So at that point in time, we learn how to bring the golf club down on a proper plane. And like I said, if we're aiming well and we bring the club down on plane, that will produce straight golf shots, assuming lastly that the club face squares up. In your case, you're aiming left, you're coming over the top, you're trying to pull the ball to the right. And at that point in time, like I said, whatever happens to the club face will dictate what happens to that golf ball. Okay? Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day. If at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all and you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, again, hope you had a wonderful day and hope you enjoyed the opportunity to see your swing. Take care.